Responsibility for your actions. Take responsibility. Be accountable. Now that's very easy to say, right? It's quite easier. And it has always been easier. For me to take responsibility is like carrying a 100 kilogram of rice. And I tried, I struggled, I suffered because I wasn't able to take all the responsibilities. How could I take, right? And so I blamed everything. I blamed it for my parents for, being not really financially independent. I blamed God for sending me to this, broken family. I blamed my neighbors, friends, everything, because everything went wrong. And I wasn't really ready to take responsibility because I always thought it's not my responsibility. I somehow just, was trapped in this sphere of life here, somewhere, in this part of the earth. I don't know how, just trapped. This is an accident, full accident. So I blamed everyone. I blamed my parents. I blamed my, neighborhoods. I blamed my system. I blamed the police. One day, I was just walking by. I was in Hyderabad, so I was walking by, and I was just looking at. I didn't like the streets. I didn't like the road. I didn't like the people. So they were all, kind of a mess up, really a mess up, and no hygiene, and people just did not know how to behave. So I was really angry at all the systems that were going on. So I bought a watermelon, and I was just walking to my room. And when I was walking, I was carrying this watermelon, and there was a police, police van behind me. So they were just honing, and I just didn't care because I was really angry. Really means really angry. So I was just walking. I didn't care about the police because I was angry at the system. Because they were the responsible persons, they were the responsible ones, to take care of this. And I ask myself, why didn't they? Why didn't they? And I walked, and I just moved aside. Otherwise, they would throw me outside. And then I just stopped for a moment. I realized, oh my God! I realized, what am I doing? Who am I? Who am I? Do I have any responsibility toward my places, toward my family? Who am I to just, give the credits of responsibility to all the people? So I thought myself, don't I have any responsibility? Do I think, is it? So I reflected on this, and I realized that what I was doing, I was just simply blaming the whole system, the whole, people. I was blaming everything that I saw in front of me because, that was not in alignment with my thoughts or in alignment with, my expectations. And what I did was I just kept blaming, this is your problem. That's your problem. That's there. They needed to do something. What happened? Nothing happened. And that's one of the reasons why we live in such a society, why there is no change, why there is no growth, why there is no development, because we always think that it's someone else's responsibility, it's someone else accountable. They are accountable, not we. Why should I be accountable? Why should I take the responsibility? I don't have the title. I don't have the, I'm not entitled to take this responsibility. So we just leave it there because I'm not a police officer. I'm not the municipality officer, right? So last two times when I spoke to my friend, he used to work in he used to run this municipality, and so once he got a phone call and he took it and he said, hello, and the other side a person, hi, we have some waste in front of my home, so are you free? Can you come and take it, just move it from here? Think about the attitude of the people. They just can't get out of their home and come out of it and just take the waste out of there. Think about this. Think about it. We don't like to take responsibility. We like to give people responsibility. And that is not a true leader. True leadership is having the capacity, having the ability to take responsibility. And my question is, do you take responsibility for your actions? for the things that you do, for the things that went wrong. The day when I realized it, when I reflected on my behavior of blaming others, I realized that I was not a responsible citizen. I was not a accountability, or I didn't have any accountability. I realized that day I thought myself, I just asked myself these questions. What is the best thing that I could do? What is the best thing that I could do? If people are not responsible, if my students are not responsible, if people surround me are not responsible, why they are not responsible? And that actually put me into thinking. And that's when I started to learn about human psychology and how we actually develops our behavior, character, and personality, and how it affects others too. And the thing that I actually learned was this. Our character, behavior, personality is actually molded by how by our society, by the things that we encounter, the experience that we get, and the teachings, and the whole condition. So the particular environment that you are in, the particular habitat that you are in, actually defines your character, defines your personality, defines your future even. So if a group of people do not take responsibility, it's also because of the culture or the whole tradition, the culture, otherwise that society often do not allow them to take responsibility, or the culture do not have the ingredients to help them to become responsible citizens. Or if your organizations and if your people in your organizations, employees in your organizations do not take accountability or responsibility, it's not because that they're irresponsible. Of course, they may be irresponsible. They may not have the ingredients or the right mindset to take the responsible actions to change, to bring change. But what you can do is, once you recognize it's your duty, your organization, this is your organization, this is your company, this is your business, and this is your community, and you are responsible here. When you acknowledge that there is something wrong, it's your responsibility now, not others' responsibility, your responsibility. Because it is this acknowledgement, it is this knowledge, oh my God, there is something wrong, this knowledge that allows us to act upon. Unless you have that knowledge, unless you are conscious that there is a problem, you can never act upon. And most of the people are like that. They don't know that they have a problem. They don't know that they are irresponsible. So if your employees in your organization or the people in your community are irresponsible, it's your duty to recognize that and then do something about it. And I actually had a business. It's actually a training center. So I used to train kids, students. So we had lots of children, learning disabled kids, and one of the things that I actually did, a big mistake that I did while I was running this institution, is that I wasn't really good at taking responsibility, number one. Second, I wasn't really good at sharing the responsibility with others, and that's really necessary. Sharing the responsibility. I wasn't really good at any of this. If you have a family or relationship, it's your fully responsibility, number one, to take responsibility of that relationship, that institution, that business, that organization, that community, the people who follow you. You need to take responsibility for those people. It's necessary. And that's how it is always. That's how it is. That's why you are here. You're here because you know something about it. You know how to lead them. You know how to take responsible actions in order to bring the exact change you want to bring. And once you acknowledge it, it's your duty. As long as you do not acknowledge about this problem, you can't act it. But once you acknowledge, now you are the responsible person. So the responsibility is not entitled to certain people, or is not assigned to certain people, who have this title of responsibility. But it's actually, in my words, it's actually entitled to people, assigned to people who are consciously aware of the responsibility, of the problem that they have. And once you are aware of the problem you have, now it's your responsibility. So there is a saying in Bible, which is, if you know that something is sinful, and you're still going to do that you're doing a real sin. But if you don't know that, and you're not really doing a sin. And the other one, I don't know if I'm misinterpreting, and if I'm really sorry, extremely sorry for that. And so the main point of that point is this, like, if you know that there is something good you can do, whether it's in your society, community, or your organizations. So you know that there is something you can do. You can help the persons, or there is something good you can do, and you're not doing it, even though you know it's something good to do, but you're not doing it, then that's a sin. And this is my definition for responsibility. You know that it's something that there is something you can do, and you see that problem, and you can find if you think about it, and definitely you can bring some solution for it, but you're not doing it because you think that you're not entitled to take that responsibility. And in that case, you are a poor leader. I don't call you a leader, because leaders don't do that. This is exactly what Gandhiji did. Gandhi, when he was in South Africa, he encountered something similar, something really devastating in his own personal life, and he reflected that. He compared that with thousands of millions of people who had to just go through the same situation in India. What he did is he came back to India and he fought for his people. He knew that he knew that there was a responsibility not only for himself to defend his own freedom, but also to defend his people's freedom. But because he realized he's a true citizen, he's a responsible citizen. Now the only one thing is, come back to my city, come back to my country, and then fight for freedom. And he came back and he did it. It's all because of that awareness, that knowledge of the responsible, and understanding of the definition of true responsibility. So never think that responsibility is just some assignment that you were given to you, but it's this it's the assignment that you're given without being titled, or without having or given a particular title. It's this conscience that you see something there, and you think that you can bring a solution, and then once you have that, now it becomes a part of your responsibility. So what I did while I was living with my family, one of the things that I actually did was I kept blaming my parents. I started hating them. I started hating God because he couldn't do anything. I prayed the whole day, prayed, but nothing appeared. God didn't appear. God didn't say anything, and I started to hate him because he put me here in the suffering, in the pain, and it's a really painful situation. I couldn't do anything there. So I started to blame to my non-gods, which is my parents. I blamed them forever. Nothing happened. I couldn't change any situations. The only thing that I did was I just blamed. Relationship went wrong. There was a lot of frictions between our relationship, quarrels, arguments. That was the only thing that's left. Finally, I realized all these times I knew there was something wrong. All this time I knew it, but I did it. And I realized, oh my God, it is my responsibility. Why didn't I know this? Why didn't I act upon it? Ladies and gentlemen, I just would love to say that a true leadership, the quality, the characteristics of a true leadership is the quality of trait of having a sense of responsibility towards not only oneself, but towards one's family, society, country, community, and organizations, and the whole world. It's the sense of responsibility that you see a problem and you think you can do something about it, and it's your mindset to go and find solution and solve that. That mindset is the true characteristic of a leadership. And if you have that, you can transform people's lives. You can transform your community. You can transform your your organizations, your business, and the whole world. You can be an inspiration. And I want you to be an inspiration instead of just blaming everything, blaming the systems. We can all do that. We can all sit the whole day and have some booze and then start criticizing everything that goes wrong. But only a few people, only true leaders can come back from that hell or from that mess up, and then look back and try to find a solution and go back to there and then fix it. Only true leaders can do that. And true leaders always have found a way to go back to their society and to give back something, but to try to, they always try to fix the problem. And most of the problems were solved because we had such leaders. And leadership is the title given to people without, I don't think that it's a title given by any particular society or body, but I think it's a title freely given to people who have such a mindset of taking responsibility when there is a problem. So I happened to have a conversation yesterday at the curator's speech, and Mr. Sudhir Rao, who is from, he's a leadership whisperer. He calls himself leadership whisperer, which means he helps people to tap into their innate leadership skills and to become leaders, pointy leaders. And I loved one of the story that he told to me, which is, there was a lady, I unfortunately forgot her name, lady in Taj when the explosion, when the terrorists attacked the Taj a few years back. So they were Unilever company organization. They were having a party there and they were enjoying the party. And suddenly the terrorists attacked, they shot, and many people died. And during this crisis, there was this lady, and what she did is, instead of just running away from there, she stood there and helped around 60 people to get out of that place, to get out of that situation, the whole situation. She was the last person to come out of that place. And when I was just listening to that story, I was going, oh my God, it's because that's true leadership. That's true leader. Now she was just 24-year-old girl. Not 50-year-old, not a senior leadership coach or leader or anything. She wasn't a leader at all. But that's true leader. That's a true spirit of the leader. You see a problem, you go there and you take responsibility. And the thing that I want to tell you is this. This is a quote by Catherine Pulsifer. At the end of the day, we are accountable to ourselves. Our success is a result of what we do. The success that we bring, whether it's in your community, in your organization, in a society, in your family, or in your relationship, it's the result of what you do. It's the consequences of the sequence of things that you do every day on a daily basis. So what responsibility are you taking today? What responsibility are you taking toward your family, toward your relationship, toward your company, toward your community? You are the responsible. If you're listening to this, you're a responsible person and you're a responsible citizen, and therefore you are a leader. And they look up to you. They always look up to you. Give them the model, the example. So I wish you have an amazing year ahead.